Hey y'all, I'm back and I have more creepy stories for you guys. I don't actually know what the theme of this video is. It just says there's 67 scary stories. That's a lot. 67 real life stories that'll freak you the fuck out. Like, come on, we're not getting through all of them. We're not even getting close. I don't want to sit on my knees. All right, coming down. Just gonna get this out of the way now. I think it's crazy how much I don't care what I look like on the internet. I'm showing my face like this. It's fine. These are all really short, so I feel like we'll get through a decent amount, but we're just gonna see what happens. Number one, my aunt used to live in this old house that everyone in the family joked was haunted. On Christmas, she woke up and went down to the living room to find all of the sofa cushions arranged in a cross on the floor. Only she and her husband lived there, and both of them swore that neither of them did it. No, because the way I would have to move out the next day. Number two, at almost the exact moment my grandfather died, the large mirror over our staircase at our family cabin cracked down the middle. Since then, several times when my mom and her siblings have discussed their dad, they have found or heard broken or breaking glass. Once, every glass on a shelf spontaneously cracked. Another time, all the glasses in the dishwasher broke. They always say my granddad loved living so much and couldn't stand dying so soon, so this was his way of coming back. It's kind of sweet, but it's also so sad. Also, you're ruining all of my glasses, Dad. My sister and I were home alone playing with Barbies, and we sat a Ken doll on the couch. I'm not gonna like this. We threw Barbie in his direction, and both of us saw him lift his arms and catch her. She wasn't out of place. She landed perfectly in his arms. We were stunned and tried recreating it multiple times, but had no luck. We were creeped out and left him in a drawer, untouched for months. I would burn him. When my sister was 12, she was seriously ill in the hospital for several months. Her class brought her a teddy bear, which became her mascot while she was having treatment. Shortly before she was discharged, the bear went missing. We assumed it had been stolen. One day, after she had been home a week or so, the bear appeared on her windowsill. The weirdest thing was that it had muddy paws, as if it had walked there. Burn that bitch too. My grandmother was very sick and dying. For a few weeks leading up to her death, she would stare off into space and talk to dead relatives. She would say things like, "I'll see you soon, Alice," or "I'm coming soon, Mabel." She would always name deceased relatives. Then one day she started talking to her brother, Henry. We thought it was weird because Henry was still alive. We got a call the next day that Henry had died the previous day. Oh my God, no, because that's so terrifying. And also I'm getting a theme of paranormal, so I guess, and also my computer won't shut the fuck up. I don't know if you can hear that, it keeps going, "Bow." The theme is paranormal, and I like that, so it's fine. Number 6, my family and I used to live in a cult when I was younger, and while we were there, we experienced a lot of supernatural events. Interesting, you're just gonna skip over the cult part? I now choose to explain these events as shared psychosis due to trauma, but there's one event that happened a little bit after we left that I can't explain. It was in the middle of a really bad storm, and because of lightning and the threat of tornadoes, we were all hiding in the safest place in the house. During a huge crack of thunder, we heard the sound of shattering glass in the living room. After it was safe again, we went back out, and the globe on one of our lamps was missing. We searched everywhere for it in the broken glass, but it had just vanished. I can't explain that one because it wasn't just seeing or hearing inexplicable things. We physically had the globe, and then it completely disappeared. Number 7, my mother lost her wedding ring a few years after she and my dad married. They tore the house apart and never found it. Eventually, they moved away and she got a new ring. A year or so afterward, my dad's mother died. A few days after the funeral, my dad was away and my mom fell asleep on the couch. She opened her eyes and saw her old wedding ring on the arm of the sofa. No one had been in the house except for her, and it had definitely not been there when she dozed off. My mom isn't religious, but she's convinced her mother-in-law found it for her. No, that's literally tea. That's literally tea, finding things for us, and well, actually, she was the one hiding things, but regardless, she would find them for us too. No, I totally believe spirits can do that. They can literally bring you physical objects. I 100% believe that. This next one, I'm not into this. It's really short. I went to a funeral and saw the deceased standing next to her own casket at the front of the church. Absolutely not. One time, my mom called me to let me know it was time for us to head somewhere. I walked out of my room and saw her out of the corner of my eye walking into her room. I followed her, calling her name, and once again caught a glimpse of her, this time walking into the bathroom. I walked into the bathroom and no one was there. My blood ran cold. I called out to my mom and she had been downstairs the whole time. Oh my God. When I was 6, I spent a long weekend at my friend's house in Montana. I slept on the floor of his room in a sleeping bag. One night, I sat up, covered in sweat and shaking. I was 100% awake. Then, I watched as a Grim Reaper-like figure floated from the shadows to the other side of the room where there was a wall. He peeled back the wall as if it were a curtain. Then I saw my home city at dusk covered in flames with people screaming. He pointed at the city and said, "This is how it ends." I ran to the bathroom and stayed there the rest of the night. No one believes it happened. I feel like you were having like sleep paralysis or something. Like, I believe that you were awake, but there definitely has to be something that explains that. Because what the fuck? One night, when I was around 15, my best friend and I stayed home alone at her house while her parents were away. The house had a long driveway off the road and was surrounded by woods. It snowed that night, and in the morning when we were leaving, we found footprints that went all the way down the driveway and stopped by the back of the house. There were none leading away. We immediately left, and she refused to go back until her parents were home. Nothing was messed with, no windows appeared broken, and nothing was stolen. It was just weird. No, there was like literally someone living in the house. We're already on 12, so I feel like we're making good time, and I feel like we'll get through like 30 of these, but don't take that. Maybe not. That seems like a lot. About 15 years ago, my younger sister and I were having a movie night in the living room. My parents were asleep, and our older sister was out with friends. As we were getting ready to sleep in the living room, we heard a deep and raspy voice whisper my name from the room around the corner. We both looked at each other, freaked out, and turned off the TV without telling each other what we had just heard. The next morning, I asked her to tell me what she had heard, and she confirmed she heard my name. To this day, we don't know what it was or why it said my name. No, like, why me? Like, literally, why me? My younger sister lost the only key to her lockbox. It just vanished. A few months later, we were sitting in my bedroom and we heard what sounded like a piece of metal hitting the floor. We looked around but couldn't see anything. We looked back to where we were sitting and there was the lost key. We told our family about it, but we cannot explain it. No, where did it come from? It came out of the air. I don't know why I just skimmed over this one before I read it, and it's kind of funny. Not funny, but you'll see. I had a dream where I was engaged to a man named Boole. When I woke up, I thought it was weird, but went about my day. I had a little weed that evening and had the worst panic attack of my life. I went to the hospital and my doctor was named Dr. Boole. No, because the way I would never be, I would be so scared. Especially high as fuck having a panic attack and then you meet someone named after someone in your dream. That just sounds no. That would make my panic attack worse. So I guess it's not funny, but it's I don't know. I don't know why I said that was funny. I was driving to work one morning when a school bus suddenly overtook another parked bus and came straight for me with no possibility of stopping in time. I was terrified and closed my eyes, expecting it to hit my car, but when I opened them again, I was about half a mile up the road. There was no possible way that the bus could have managed to stop in time before hitting me, so to this day, I still cannot explain what happened and how I ended up further up the road. That is scary, but also, so relieving that they didn't hit you. I don't know. I had a ring my mom gave me many years ago. I lost it a few years after she died. I looked everywhere. I was so upset. I finally said, "Please help me, Mom. I can't bear to lose this." I had dumped out my jewelry box 4 times already, but decided to open it one more time. The ring was sitting on top. No, I swear to God, they can do shit like that. I swear on my life, it's so possible. Why are you arguing with me? No one said anything. I'm just talking to myself. That's the insane thing about YouTube videos is I'm literally sitting here talking to myself. Sometimes never mind. I will get mad over comments that don't exist. People someone being "You're so dumb, that could never happen, that's not possible." And I'm "Yes it is." No one even said that, but yes it is. 17, when my beloved dog died a little over a year ago, she was on the East Coast with my boyfriend while I was on a trip to the West Coast. The morning she passed, I learned the news from a terrible phone call before driving to the airport. I was absolutely hysterical and bawling the whole drive. I was talking to my girl, telling her I was sorry and that I loved her. It was awful. The deepest despair I have ever felt. Then I saw the license plate of a car passing by and it said, "It's HB." We called our dog HB, short for Harley Bear. I'd like to think that something was sending me a message that she was still out there somewhere and could hear me. No, that breaks my heart. I just cannot imagine. No, I can't imagine not being near my animal when they died. I just can't. I can't. Because it's you almost feel guilty because you're they didn't get to see me before they went. Oh my God, no, I totally understand that being the worst heartbreak ever. Oh my God. I can't even imagine losing an animal in general, but not being able to be with them when they go. That will never happen. I'm never leaving my cats ever again. My boyfriend and I went shopping at this small boutique in a strip mall. We went in, got our stuff and left, which took about half an hour. When we checked our watches, 4 hours had passed. To this day, neither of us can explain it. It was the middle of the day. We weren't drunk or high, just shopping at a very small store in a strip mall. No, I hate that. When my dad was around 9, he had a pet salamander that he found out by the lake. One night, his older sister, my aunt, had a dream that she ate the salamander. Bitch. When they woke up the next morning, the salamander was gone. They never found it or figured out what happened to it. We still wonder to this day if my aunt actually ate the salamander. That is disgusting. I don't know why I keep making that voice. I need to stop doing that. That's really gross. Back in 2017, my uncle died very unexpectedly. At the end of that year, I was on a class trip to the UK and we visited the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. Ireland was a place my uncle wanted to visit but never got the chance to, so my aunt sent me with a necklace that had some of his ashes. Oh, that's so sweet. She asked if I could spread them while I was there and I said of course. While walking around the cliffs of the Giant's Causeway, I found the perfect area overlooking the sea. My friends made a barrier around me and I quickly gave a couple of taps to the necklace and screwed the cap back on. We walked around this bend to continue our exploration and I turned around to see a rainbow over the sea that hadn't been there 10 seconds before. I know it might sound like a coincidence to some people, but I really like to think that was my uncle. I have chills. No, I literally have chills and that makes me want to cry. I have to move on. One night, I dreamed that my grandparents were having an anniversary party, much like their 50th anniversary party I'd attended in my 20s. I saw my grandparents together, but then thought, that can't be. Grandpa's dead, but not Grandma. Then it clicked, and I realized they were both dead. The next morning, my parents called to tell me my grandmother had died overnight. I simply said, I know, she told me. I also got chills from that one, but like in a completely different way. I don't know, that's like, that is like, I know it's kind of sweet because it's like she came to say goodbye to you essentially, but that scares me. That scares me that they're like, they can get in your head. Why do I keep making weird voices? They can get in your head. Also, I have to tell you something at the end of this video, and it might explain why I'm acting the way I'm acting, but whatever. I don't even know if I'm acting weird, but I might be. I don't know. I'll tell you later. We're gonna read a couple more. This is 22. When I was in school, whenever someone died in one of my dreams, they wouldn't be at school the next day. Sometimes they were sick, or a few times they were just very late to the class I had with them, but it was freaky. One time, I even texted a friend who lived in another state to ask if they had gone to school that day because they had died in my dream. They, in fact, had not gone to school. No, that's crazy. That's so weird. You have like a weird power. A few years ago, I lost a necklace and tore my house up looking for it. I finally gave up, and about 6 months later, I found it under my pillow one morning. It was as if the tooth fairy had left it for me. I had washed the sheets many times since losing the necklace, and it was a heavy pendant, so it wasn't something that would easily go unnoticed in the wash. I still have no idea how it ended up there. Let's do 2 more. I've had sleep paralysis a few times, but one specific time I was able to open my eyes. I could stare at my ceiling, but I couldn't move my body. I heard a voice say, relax. I was so freaked out after that. Of course, I lived alone too. No. And finally, 25. My ex died in 2015. It was the single worst thing that has ever happened to me. He had joked that if he ever died, he would haunt me for fun. 2 nights after he died, I heard a noise outside. A familiar noise. Every time he would try to stand up from one of my patio chairs, his key ring would get stuck and his guitar-shaped beer opener would make this certain metallic clang. This was, without a doubt, what I heard. My dogs both got up and started barking. I walked outside and there was no one there. No, that's gonna be me when I die. Like, I'm haunting everyone I've ever known. I'm gonna haunt all of you. I'm gonna find all of you and I'm gonna haunt you. Anyone who's ever left me a hate comment though, I am coming for your ass. But that's all I'm gonna read for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any creepy stories that you wanna share with me or the community, I will have my subreddit linked down below, as I always do. I'm gonna go so I can ramble because I feel like I'm gonna ramble for a while, but I also might not. I'm not really sure yet. We'll see what happens. But I love you guys. I'm gonna go. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, so I think it's hilarious because I got a DM one time, and I've actually had a couple of you say this to me, but I got a really long DM one time where this girl was basically explaining to me all the reasons she thinks I have ADHD. And I've told people about that DM and they're like, oh, that's kind of like rude, whatever. But I do think she was genuinely trying to help because she got diagnosed really late in life. I am 28 years old and I have ADHD. I got put on medication that so okay, it's kind of confusing because he didn't necessarily say like you have ADHD, but he said, I'm gonna put you on this medication that I give to people with undiagnosed ADHD. So that leads me to believe I might But I was like, also, can't you diagnose me? Like, what? I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous to start the medication because it was when I was going through all of my stuff with my old meds, when I was having like the trouble sleeping, whatever. And so I switched back to like my old meds. That's really confusing. If you know, you know, I guess. So then he put me on that at the same time I switched back to like my original medication. And so I was scared to take it for a little bit, so I didn't. I just stuck with my old, like all of my old meds, whatever. But I started taking it a couple weeks ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago at this point. Oh my God. Oh my God. I feel amazing. I feel like I can do so much. I feel like I'm not tired anymore. And that's insane because if you know me, especially in real life, I am the sleepiest bitch. I can sleep 12 hours a night and take a 2-hour nap during the day. Like I sleep more than I'm awake most of the time. Now, like last night I went to bed at 2, I woke up at 9. And like that, and I feel fine. Like I feel refreshed. I feel like I got a good night's sleep. I'm not gonna take a nap today. Like I'm not tired. And that's insane because I'm always exhausted. It gives me like so much energy and I feel like I can do so much. Like I have cleaned and organized everything I could possibly clean and organize. I started baking. I started cooking. Like who am I? No, like actually what is happening? I do so much now. And like, I'm still trying to get used to it, obviously, because it's like I haven't been working as much, but I've also had stuff going on. Like I had a trip to LA, which like kind of conflicted, and like Thanksgiving and stuff, so whatever. And then this week, honestly, I'm just being lazy. Sorry. Like the last 2 weeks, I feel like I had valid excuses. This week, I don't. I'm only gonna have one video this week. I apologize. But I just feel like I can do so much and I have so much more motivation, and I like filming this video was so fun for me. Not that like filming like sucked before, but like it would feel like such a chore to like set up my camera and just start talking. And I feel like once I started filming I was fine, but like I was like excited to film this video today, and I feel like I haven't felt like that in a really long time, and I just feel really good. And I don't know. And I talked to my psychiatrist like maybe a week ago, and I told him like I feel amazing, blah 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 blah, and he was like, I am so glad. So I'm still taking the meds. He like did a refill, like whatever, I'm gonna stick with them. But oh my god, it's actually crazy what the right medication can do for you. Not that I think medication fixes all, but I do think when you have something like in your brain, you know, that's wrong, medication is like a lifesaver. It's insane. I feel so different and I feel so good. And I also think it's like a combination of like being on my like original medication mixed with this one instead of like the old meds I was taking that were like killing me. And so I think the combo is like making me feel absolutely amazing. I like am loving life right now. It's so fun. I just feel so happy. And I felt happy before, but it's like a whole different feeling that I have right now. But yeah, that's all I wanted to tell you. So if I was like weird or obnoxious in the video, that's why. I don't know what that was. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. I don't want to ramble for too long because I don't really know if I even have anything else to say. So I'm gonna go. Skedaddle. Scram. I love you guys so much. See you.